Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about, some do's and don'ts and some tips for just giving dawah. In terms of, street dawah and, just generally just talking to people about Islam. So the first thing is make sure you look presentable. I'm not saying you have to rock up in a prayer cap and thobe, but make sure you look clean cut. Don't look sloppy. Make sure you smell good, Make sure you wear some, cologne, brush your teeth, that's sort of general stuff. And also make sure you smile, be friendly, be approachable, because people are going to look at you in that moment as the representation of the entire faith. So if you look sloppy, if you look angry, if you look scary, if you make people not want to go near you, people aren't going to want to accept Islam, at least not that day. So that's the first thing. Make sure you be friendly, and obviously don't judge people because for their actions, and that's for God, not for us. Make sure you have some basic knowledge, because people are going to ask you certain questions. People ask, if people ask you about a certain hadith, don't turn around and go, "What's a hadith?" Don't. Make sure you at least know that much. Know some basics, surahs of the Quran, because people are going to ask you certain potentially awkward questions. They're going to ask you about, terrorism and what parts of the Quran apparently allow for terrorism. They're going to ask you about the age of Aisha radiallahu anha and when the time she got married to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Be prepared to answer those questions and answer it in a way that they'll understand. Don't blow off the question. That being said, if someone asks you a question you don't know the answer to, don't lie. Whatever you do, don't lie. Because A, lying is haram, and B, if you do lie and they catch you out in that lie, it's going to make you look even worse. And then again, because you're representing your faith in that moment, people are automatically going to assume that all Muslims are like that, and they'll lie just to be able to get themselves out of a situation. The beautiful thing about the day and age we live in, especially with this age of technology, is that we have all the information in the world at our fingertips. If someone asks you a question you don't know, Google it, look it up, and the answers will be there for you. In regards to those questions, so some people will ask you some of those questions, and they may ask it in a somewhat insulting manner. Take it on the chin. Assume that they're asking it that way is because they don't know a better way of asking it. Don't get angry at them. Don't shout at them. They might just not know any better. Chances are all they've seen about Islam is from what they see on the internet and in the media about how bad it is. They might literally not know any better. So don't judge them for that. If someone doesn't, obviously don't assume that every time you go out you're going to be getting shahadas, people taking shahadas left and right. You may have a street dawah still handing out leaflets and not a single person may take that leaflet that day. It happens. But at the same time, when you're giving out leaflets, make sure that you're doing it in a correct way. Obviously, don't chase people down the street, take my leaflet, because you're going to scare people. Don't do that. And also, when I say the correct way, I remember I was watching a video of some dawah being given in London, and this woman's way of handing out leaflet was, learn how to free yourself from the shackles of freedom and democracy. That is a terrible pitch. That's probably one of the worst ones I've ever heard, because people, when you say, learn how to free yourself from the shackles of freedom, well, that in and of itself is an oxymoron. The term freedom doesn't make you think of chains. As Muslims, we are subservient to the one God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to Him alone. The creator of all things, master of the day of judgment. That's who we are subservient to. By being subservient to Him and only Him, we free ourselves from the trappings of the dunya. That's the message that you need to convey. Focus on Tawheed, which brings me to my next part. A lot of people, when they're giving dawah, will focus on things like, oh, this is why you shouldn't drink and this is why you shouldn't eat pork, and can bring scientific evidence to back that up. And don't get me wrong, alhamdulillah, fair play to them. And even if that person agrees, to stop drinking and stop, eating pork, if they don't accept Islam and start worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it won't matter at the end of the day. It won't. But at the same time, you will also be judged for that because you've given them the wrong part of the message. So make sure the main part of you giving dawah, especially to non-Muslims, is focusing on worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Him alone. In regards to giving dawah to Muslims, don't judge them. There's a chance that maybe they're not praying 5 times a day, maybe they're not praying at all, maybe they're not fasting on Ramadan, maybe they're Muslims in name only and that's it. Don't judge them for that. Don't be like, oh, you're going straight to the hellfire. Don't, because you're going to make them feel bad, and chances are they're not going to want to, you know, straighten up and you'll get on the straight back onto the straight path, Sadat and Mustaqim. So be polite to them, be kind to them, try and identify with them. Even myself included. I mean, obviously, I'm a revert brother, so it was quite a few years when I wasn't practicing Islam whatsoever. And there's many people that were born into Muslim families that had times where they weren't particularly practicing. They were out in the streets, engaged in the nightlife, and those types of things. So be understanding and be kind to them. Especially if there's a time when you yourself weren't doing that, bring that up and try and identify with them. You'll make them feel better, and chances are they'll want to straighten up their own lives. Don't get disheartened if people, they don't take your flyers. Like I said, you might go a whole day where people won't take a single flyer off you. Don't get disheartened if people aren't, taking shahada every time you go out. Just keep trying. At the end of the day, this is a test for you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, to see if you've got what it takes to keep going out there after hearing no, because that's just a fact of life. You're going to hear no more times than you hear yes anyway. So keep going out there and keep trying. In regards to giving dawah to close friends and families who you see a lot, if they don't accept Islam, don't just assume, well, that's Allah's way of saying, he doesn't want you to be guided. No. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that's not up for you to decide. Keep trying, keep giving them dawah, and inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for your intentions. So yeah, guys, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us increase in our knowledge, and may we will be able to spread this beautiful message of Islam to the entire world.